Yeah.
What's up, degenerates? Ye are all very welcome to our preview of the Irish Derby. As always, I am joined with 𝗏𝗏𝐷, Joe Value, and we have a very special guest, classic winning jockey, Shane Dusty Foley. How's things, Dusty? Welcome to Cold Bear Sports.
Yeah, all good, lads. All good, all good.
Joe Value, what about yourself? We had a nice week last week in Ascot, and have you recovered a long week, albeit trying to find winners?
Yeah, sure, look, you only get out of this game what you put into it. If you don't put in the effort, you're not going to get the results. So looking forward to the weekend.
That's for sure. And the man that bashed the bookies, 𝗏𝗏𝐷, how are you feeling? Have you aged or have you got younger? It was a hard week.
Had a good week. Finished up good on Saturday, actually, with the ground going the way it did. The fancied horses came to the fore and finished up on the plus side anyway. So looking forward to a good weekend of the Curragh now. Should be a good meeting.
Yes, very interesting. Right, lads, we'll just have a quick look at Friday. I see the Apprentice Derby is there, and it would be unfair not to mention the young talent in the country. But before we go on to that, we see Dusty has a couple of rides in the unexposed in the maidens. Any of them worth a look out for, Dusty? Anything nice? I think the second filly ran okay on debut.
Yeah, she ran a lovely race in Leopardstown the first day, quite green. I think she stepped forward a lot. All of ours will all seem to be taking a run, but she's a filly we do like. The Ballydoyle filly looks very, very well bred. It'll be interesting to see how good she is, but it'll take a nice newcomer to beat me, I think, hopefully.
Yeah, that's Discoveries, I think, in the 5 o'clock tomorrow, if that's how we pronounce it. Right, well then we'll leave that there and we'll move on to the Apprentice Derby. 𝗏𝗏𝗷, anything here? We have Blue Shadow, young Andrew Slattery in the saddle. I see we have 𝐶𝐵 Robert Wheatley or 𝐶𝐵. Then we have the Grassic horse that's won a couple of races. Change a rider here, Willie Byrne. Beyond happy for Bulger, Luke McAteer. Anything standing out in this for you, Mick?
There's only 1-by-1 favourites in the last 10 years, and 5 3-year-olds, and they were either won by Jim Bulger or Joseph O'Brien. And Bulger has Beyond Happy, and it's all his other winners were 3-year-olds, but this is a 4-year-old, and it's raced. It was third in the first run this year, but it's interesting that he targets a horse like this. The only thing is his form in the stable is he's only 2 wins and 6 places out of the last 25 runners, so he's just not exactly flying. Joseph O'Brien relies on Powerful Kieran as a 3-year-old maiden. It's up 8 pounds for his last 2 seconds, but it looks like he has been trained for the race. But the most interesting horse in the race is Seed Duker, 5-year-old from Artur Moore, and it could be absolutely thrown in. It was second in Leopardstown at Christmas off 132, to second in the handicap hurdle to Master McShee. It beat Gallopin de Champs in Gordon Park in November at Christmas. It's only raced at 66. It could be 2 stone well in.
Well, if it is 𝗏𝗏𝗷, the degenerates would have a field day. Joe, where does the value lie? Lord, there'll be a whole lot of value with the Artur Moores if it is as well handicapped as 𝗏𝗏𝗷's selection, right? What are you thinking?
Taking the exact same. See, Decor spent 15 minutes writing out, not worth the bollocks to me now because Mick was after saying the exact same as I was going to say, off 66. In the race in Gordon Park, where it won its maiden hurdle, the horse was 4th. Mighty Blue was 4th. That's rated 101 now on the flash, and see Decor is running off 66 tomorrow. I mean, it's absolutely fucked in. So sorry for cursing, but it should win. Yeah, so you can move on. Thanks.
Dusty Foley, are you in agreement with these lads? They seem to have the winner.
No, I don't agree with the lads at all. This horse is rated 66 and is carrying 9.6, and there's horses below it rated 80 and they're only carrying 9.2. This horse is going to need 3 stone in hand to win tomorrow off that rating. This is not a handicap tomorrow, lads. It's a rated race, quite a funny race. But you see the likes of Joseph. Jesse's filly has been on the improve since the fitting of blinkers. She's rated 80, is 9 stone 2. Scott's a great rider. But I think you have to go with the high ratings and the lower weights. I do think Cedar is well handicapped, but maybe not today. surprised Artur Moore thrown him in this race, because on the ratings it doesn't come out great. But no, I think it could be between the 2 3-year-olds. I think Aurora Princess and Powerful Kieran could end up fighting it out.
Yeah, personally myself, I like the Paddy Harnett filly. I thought she was definitely showing a little bit more, and then finally getting the win. Paddy Harnett definitely a jockey to follow. I see, as well as a couple more, Sam Ewan and Dylan Brown McMonaghan. You can never go too far when you're close to these guys. Interesting race, but look, we won't dwell, so we'll move on swiftly to the big stuff, and we'll get to Saturday's racing. Kicks off in the 2 o'clock. I'll just come to you, Dusty. A filly here ran not too bad the last day. Loch Leon, not a bad run the last day.
No, look, Paddy, she's a filly that's disappointed us, really, being honest. I thought she was going to be a very good filly early in the season, and she ran in a couple of trials, was a bit keen, and we dropped her back to 6, and she hung a bit on the fast ground in Cork. But she's definitely a filly that we haven't seen the best of, but it'll be hard in against the older ones on Saturday. On any rain that falls will be a help to her. I think she needs to get a little bit of her toe in a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see. But she'll probably be more competitive in them 3-year-old only fillies races later in the year.
Yeah, she was a group winner, I think, last year, wasn't she?
No, she actually won a maiden, but she won a maiden by 6 lengths in Cork. It was very, very impressive. And like I said, she'd been working with the likes of Remember Alexander before she ran in the Guineas and things, so she's up there with our nicer fillies, but we just haven't got the handle on her yet, and she might come good, whether it's this weekend or not, but it will be later on at some stage.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it was a deep race. I thought she ran in the last day. The Sonietta isn't a bad filly and things. Joe Value, anything in here lurking? Myself, I just thought the Dennis Hogan horse was coming back to a bit of form, but he's been disappointing enough, albeit if there's any ease in the ground, he tends to run his best. What's sticking out for you here, Joe?
Yeah, I like Theresa Mondo's. I respect what Dusty was saying about the 3-year-olds. You know, it's tough meeting the older horse and that, but she gets a sex allowance and she's getting, she's getting away from them all. Billy Lee takes the ride for Kenny Condon. Their horses are running well. I just think she's a chance, and if the ground does get a bit softer, she won't mind that either.
Definitely interesting. Mickey D, what have you got for us? Where do the stats lie? Have the young horses any chance against the olders?
I didn't touch a lot of those races with the 3-year-olds. I don't tend to back the 3-year-olds that left on the 1st of July down through the years. That's my trend.
Till they're mature.
Only a week away, isn't it?
Till they've improved 10 pounds. Right, we'll leave that there then. I suppose we can just have a quick look at the 2:30. So the Dubai Duty Free Fillies handicap. Now, just want to make sure this runs 1 second. Yes. Now, Dusty, a filly we were interested in, we tipped her up at 25 to 1 the last day. Thought she ran well, victim to circumstance a little bit with the draw, and I thought she can step up again. What about 7 at the Curragh? Mio Mentor, is it?
Yeah, I think the track is suitable. She's a filly that's slow from the gate. She's not straightforward, a little bit awkward at home, but I definitely do think she has the ability to win off her mark. She's slipping down in the handicap the whole time. But no, she is a filly that I think the Curragh will suit her. She'll be taking her time. She'll be ridden for a bit of luck, but she does have the ability, but she does. Galty Mist has been a revelation for Joe Murphy, but I'm not sure if the track will suit her. She's quite keen going, and she likes to turn and that and going, and them tracks suit her, so it'll be a bit harder for her up here. And could be one that I think could be thrown in. She'll be competing in them better races, so it'll be interesting with Ryan and Aidan.
Yeah, I like your filly. I just thought the last day, as you say, she could be a little slow away, and I just thought in the straight, where, as you said, the Curragh is so much fairer that you're going to get hopefully the run you've been waiting for with her, and I think she can definitely be bang there. Mickey D, what about yourself? Filly's handicap, anything lurking here?
Pass again, Paddy.
We'll take Joe Value, so the man that knows well. I like the Dusty Written filly. What about yourself, Joe? There is a couple of interest in Unexposed. What else is standing out?
Yeah, no, I like the more beautiful, as Shane was saying there, she's against different league of opposition throughout most of her life. But also won just at a big price. I thought the 𝗏𝗏𝗏, the Mick Halford trained for Ronnie Whelan. It's just that she does be a bit free in her races, and she's drawn 2. The mare that's drawn 1, Mary Salone, goes like the clappers. So she'll get a lovely trail into the race. She might pop in there at the biggest price.
Right. We'll move on swiftly. So, and I think this is a very, very deep race. So we have the Railway Stakes, the Group 2, the Gain Railway Stakes Group 2. We have Dusty riding Albion Square. We have the Joseph O'Brien horse, Andreas Velasquez, Argus, Cadamastor, however you pronounce it, the very impressive Castle Star, Dr. Senf, an impressive winner first time out, Jukebox Masato, Pinar del Rio, Strapped, the Acropolis. Look, I can keep going on and on. I think Go Bear Gore has come out, but Joe Value, I'll just come to you here for a minute. You obviously, you're the one you tipped up in Ascot doesn't run. Is there anything else standing out to you?
Well, unfortunately, Go Bear has got this run. I was looking forward to seeing him again, but it's very hard to oppose that Castle Star. The run the last day, he looked a superstar. And when you hear Christy Hayes saying he's never travelled so easy on a horse, you know, you just have to take note. And I won't be opposing him. Yeah.
Yes, we'll come to Mickey D, the bookie basher from out west. What wins it, Mickey?
It was won last year by a 66 to 1 shot. 2 favourites in the last 10 years, but most of the prices were 9 to 4, 7 to 2, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 2 7 to 1. So there's no real outsider bar last year. 2 English trained horses in the last 21 years, both of them trained by Richard Hannon. So that horse had been supplemented for the one that was second in the Norfolk Bears Go, but I think it's out now, is it?
He's out, yeah.
So it brings it down to the Irish pair. Does Masetto get back to second, the 2 runs back to the likely favourite now? It was 4th in the Coventry, and it was drawn 10 that day, and it seemed to be drawn out in the middle. So I'd nearly go with Masetto in the turn over that forum.
Dusty Foley, what about yourself? What are you thinking? Is Castle Star the real deal, Dusty, or can he be upset?
I think he might be upset, and if there's anyone going to upset him, it could be Gerline. I love the way this horse moved through the race in the Curragh last year. We went a good gallop all the way, travelled through the race, and when Colin and Gary Carroll fancy one, they're never too far wrong, and they really like this horse. Cost 400 odd grand as a yearling. I think he could give Castle Star a race. I think my little run well at a big price. He got a bit back in Ascot. He was a bit inexperienced, different type of racing over there, to jump and go. But he'd learned plenty from it, and return he's came out of the race well. So look, it's a very deep competitive railway, which it always is.
Yes, very, very interesting race. And the doctor sent another son of Dark Angel, looking really, really smart. Just a quick word on Masato. I tipped him up in Ascot the last day. I thought he ran very well. Maybe got moving a small bit soon mid-race, but it's so hard in Ascot. You kind of have to go when it opens for you anyway. But definitely a horse can probably still improve. But I still think Castle Star, they'll have to improve to beat them, but it is possible that they have. They've only, like the Dr. Senf has the 1 start, and Masetto definitely looking like a horse we haven't seen the best of. Right, let's wrap it up. Move on. Mickey D, give us the stats of the Derby. Who are you with? We have High Definition, the fine, big, late developing favourite. He's on the drift now, slightly out to 13 to 8. Hurricane Lane, the eventual 3rd in Epsom. And Mojo Star, Ross Ryan, a guest we had on last week, riding the runner-up from the Epsom Derby. Anything there stand out for you?
Well, it's called the Irish Derby, but you could call it as well the Aidan O'Brien benefit race, because he won 6 out of the last 10, and he won 13 this century, 13 out of 20. So now the favourites, he had Australia and Camelot. They were 1 to 8 and 1 to 5. But Sovereign won it in 2019 at 33 to 1. So just because that Ryan Moore might be jacked up on the top one might mean that the other one has a chance. High Definition won the Beresford last year, and it was the winter favourite for the Derby. It wasn't a strong Beresford because Monasabi was second, and it was 3rd, 8th and 7th since 𝗏𝗏 was third that day and has only won once out of 7 since. And Sir Lucan was 4th, and he turns out to be the best of them, really, because he has won 2 out of 3. When you'd be looking at the Dante the last day, he was 3rd to Hurricane Lane. And straight away, I said, when they meet again, he turned the form around. Hurricane Lane ran had a great ride in the Derby, finishing 3rd, and pulled his 2 shoes off, the 2 front shoes. And Roman Empire was 4th in the Dante, and that ran great at Epsom, or at Royal Ascot. But look, you can't sort of go against sort of Aidan O'Brien, even though the Bears doesn't look that strong for him. He looks to be trained for the day, and you have to stick with him. He's 13 at 7-4. I think he drifted out in price prior to that horse being supplemented from England, the one that was 2nd in the Derby. But that's a maiden, 3 seconds, and no maiden that I can remember or look. I couldn't find any data to see any maiden winning the Irish Derby. So I have to go against that. So I have to be on the favourite.
Joe, value the favourite around the 13-8 mark now. Is he value? Definitely a massive run in York. Look, a horse that, as Mickey just stated, that is definitely trained for the day. The right decision definitely to bypass Epsom with this horse.
Yeah, we've gone through this horse a lot in the past, and he was 7-4 yesterday. He looked a great price, to be honest with you. I backed Mojo Star, not in the Derby, but in the previous run he's made, and he came there, had every chance, and just got beat by a better one. I'd be shocked if he won it. What I was going to say, his favourites should win. It's just Shane, I wanted to ask him about the draw. I know it's 1.5 miles around the Curragh. Draw shouldn't really come into it. But isn't there a short kind of a run to the first corner in the Derby? And High Definition is drawn 10. I'm just wondering, would that worry in any significance in that, or what do you think?
No, definitely not. Look, the Curragh big open track, and this will be a test of stamina on Saturday. They're not going to leave it behind them. The Dante they had a pacemaker, but they didn't follow him that day, and it turned out to be a messy race. I think that's what got him beat. But I think whatever beats High Definition will win. O'Brien, they have 5 in it. It'll be a good, solid, even tempo. There'll be no hiding places, and I think that's what High Definition's crying out for. Max Sweeney, I think the ground won't be soft enough for him. Earlswood is a bit the same, wants a little bit of soft ground. Fernando Vici hops off that fast ground, stays going, the blinkers on him. But no, I think it's if I had a choice in the morning, what could I ride, I'd be definitely jumping on High Definition.
Yes, very strong words for the favourite. I'm glad to hear, as I backed him weeks ago, the minute he was withdrawn from Epsom. Definitely fine big horse. The Curragh should suit him. And he's run, as Dusty said, a falsely run race. The pacemaker won off. No one seemed to bother him. But I just think this horse is going to step forward a lot. He was right up the back end of Hurricane Lane the last time. And the Curragh, he's enough in it. I think Aidan is 3. Yeah, look, he's 3 or 4 outsiders are definitely going to go forward. A horse that might outrun his odds, if it is a burn-up, Wordsworth at 18-1 just might be worth a little each way if it is a burn-up, because he's not the quickest, but he will be staying on. Whether he can stay on anywhere near the likes of the favourite, you know what, I'd actually highly doubt it, but might run into a place. Right, let's leave the big one there and move on then to the 420 on the card, which is the Group 3 on Saturday. Right, very interesting. There's True Self, True Self, Thunder Kiss. Definitely interesting runners. Shane, Cadillac, a horse we haven't seen this year. We'll just come to you first. Has some pretty good form. I think when he won a Group 2 in Leopardstown. First run back, how are you feeling?
Yeah, look, he's had a few little issues lately, obviously, because he hasn't been out till now. But we have him in good shape. He's going very well. He's very fresh. That'll be my only worry the weekend, that he might just boil over. It's a long way down to the start, 1.25 miles. But if I can keep a lid on him early, going down and getting him over, I think he'll be hard to beat. I think he's a very good horse.
Yeah, he has some rock solid form. Just a quick mention there, Shane, on Norge as well. Coming from the handicap routes, getting a little bit better every time. What about his chance? How's he going?
Yeah, he's a horse. He's an old legend. He's a stalwart. The only thing is, he wants soft ground. He was 2nd in head off the last day. That was over 7 furlongs. This is probably stretching him in this grade, and unless the rain comes, he probably won't run. But no, 𝗀𝗏𝗏 had a great run the last day in a Group 1. She got put up plenty. She'll probably be hard to beat. She's fit, she's tough, she stay going. But oh look, I wouldn't swap my lad. I'm looking forward to getting him out. And if he doesn't win on Saturday, it'll be a stepping stone for the future. He'll be a horse to keep an eye on for the second half of the season.
Yes, he seems to be a really nice horse, and I'm sure the ground will be spot on for him as well, being by 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃. Right, Joe Value. I've no prices in front of me for this race. I don't know if you can help us out here. Any pricing in yet, Joe?
I don't think there is prices in yet, Paddy.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, not.
No, I do. I've always loved this Cadillac since he won Leopardstown first time up. He looked like Pegasus that day. He was brilliant, and followed him all the way through. I actually backed him to win the Guineas, this year's Guineas, but that didn't work out. But I'm delighted that Dusty is very positive about him, and as he said himself, I think it'll probably take a good horse to beat him.
Mickey D, where does the stats lie?
4 favourites in the last 10 years. The form horse really is 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. It won in Ria in February, on good ground, and then it was third in the Tattersalls, and 𝐾𝐵 was fourth. Broome was second, and Helvig Dreamed won the rest, wasn't it? So I mean, that's fit, ready to go. That'll take all the beating, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely an interesting race, and the fillies, and even the Thunder Kiss, Geraldines' filly, she seems to be getting better, not at a vast rate, but she seems to be improving steadily. Could be interesting as well. Right, we'll leave that there. We'll move on. I think the next race is a listed race. Dusty's coming in on a horse off the back of a couple of wins. Is a 𝗶𝗶𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Is that how we pronounce it, Dusty?
𝗶𝗶𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, yeah. Big invincible spirit horse, Paddy. He's won his last 2. The horse he beat the last day came out and won a group race. He has the blinkers, he has a tongue tie. The quicker the ground, the better. It's an open looking race. He is what he is. I think Jesse's done well to win 2 with him, but he could sneak in a little race like this, whether it'll be the weekend or not. He hasn't ran for a while. I think he'll improve a little bit for it.
Not so bad. Right, anything else there, Mickey D? A quick word on something in that, if you have anything you fancy.
Not really. I'll leave it over to Joe.
Right, Joe Value, give us the value if it's there, Joe, to be got.
Yeah, nothing for me either, Paddy. It's
right,
wide open.
Grand job. I didn't have a look at it either. We're
𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, lad. 𝗀𝗏𝗏 is the one if he stepped forward from Leopardstown.
𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏 is the one if it steps forward.
I 10 stone 2 though, Dusty. I just thought it plenty weight, 10 stone 2, no?
Yeah, well look, again, he's given the 3-year-olds nearly a stone, but this lad looked like he was a Guineas horse last year, I thought, and he got injured. He was just touched off in Leopardstown in the Boomerang last year, and typical one of Halford's hadn't ran for a while. I'd say it'll improve plenty fitness wise. I think he's a decent horse. They were thinking about going for the Queen Anne with him had he won in Leopardstown. So if they were thinking of him about running a Queen Anne, he should be winning the listed race to Curragh.
Right, great words and nice to have the back end info. Right, let's swiftly move on to Sunday, lads. Look, we haven't got many decks, so we'll just fire through these as quick as we can. We have a group 2, I suppose, for the 2-year-old fillies. I see Cheer Up, Sleepy Jean, who ran well in Ascot. A quick word on the stacks. Really impressive, Dusty, with the training performance. Seems to be doing very well.
Yeah. That filly ran a blinder last, loves fast ground. Mightn't be a big field in this, so we've a filly that won in Cork. She'll have to step up a lot on form, which she could. Jesse's tend to do that, but no, look, if she was placed to be a massive run.
Right, Joe Value, anything here? A quick word on one, Joe?
Not really, Paddy, to be honest. You can bang away there.
Yeah, I just like to Cheer Up, Sleepy Jean. Right, we'll move on so to the 340, the Pretty Polly Stakes. Definitely a horse of interest. 𝗀𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 that Dusty rides. I thought ran okay on the return, finished 4th in a race that was like a pretty hot race. Coming back against the fillies now, so she'll have to step up. But what are you thinking, Dusty?
Yeah, this was always our main race. Run the Tattersalls Gold Cup was a little prep race. The ground was soft that day, soft to heavy. She'll appreciate back on this nice ground. She's a filly I've always loved. She's in good shape. look, Santa Barbara was the talking horse all year. She hasn't done it yet, but be interesting to see. But looking forward to riding my one.
Joe, value, where does the value lie?
Well, I respect the top horse. Obviously, she's a very good filly, but I'm going to just keep the faith with Santa Barbara. You know, she's to think the world of her, and she's getting plenty of weight from Dusty's one, and a few more of them up the top there. I'm going to chance Santa Barbara, give her one more chance.
Mickey D, where do the stats lie?
Magical won it last year as a 2-5 favourite. There was only 2 favourites in the last 10 years, but Cayenne Pepper was second in this last year. She won 3 out of 4 in 2019, and she was second first time out last year in this. But she has a prep run this year. She likes top of the ground, like that's why they sent her out to the Breeders' Cup last year, even though she was unplaced area. But heavy ground probably went against her in the Taffersvilles in the Group 1, like, so I'm all over her.
Right, strong words from Mickey D. I see Dusty Foley smiling. Dusty, you know you have a winner here, so best.
I hope he's right.
Look, I like her as well. Definitely a nice comeback run in what was a very, very good race. Santa Barbara, the trip. Look, the Oaks was a bit strange. She looked to be going everywhere, and next thing she had nothing. I don't know. The trip might suit her, but I don't know. I didn't like the way she finished. I'm going to just leave her alone for a minute. Right, let's move on then. Have a quick word on the Cormer, the Cup race, the mile 6 further stairs, the Group 2. I liked Joseph O'Brien's as a pondus. I thought he's a horse that he's solid enough. He's not world class or anything, but definitely a chance. Joe, value, anything standing out for you in this?
Yeah, but it's tough now because the final decks aren't through yet, so you don't really know. But Pondus would have a chance. I thought like Dawn Patrol was very interesting, having his first run for Joseph O'Brien. So like we obviously don't know what the final decks are yet. But if Dawn Patrol was in it, I'd be giving him a big look if there was a few quid from just before the off, because that stable kind of knows when they're ready to go and when they're not.
Right, we'll leave it. Mickey D, give us a quick word on something. I know it's hard. We haven't got the decks, but is there anything at this stage?
𝗁𝗏𝗵 won it the last 2 years, and he went on to win the Breeder or the Melbourne Cup then. 2 favourites in the last 10 years. Aidan O'Brien has won 5 out of 10. I'm hoping Tiger Moth takes his place. He was second in the Melbourne Cup last year. Very unlucky not to catch 𝗁𝗏𝗵. And I'm looking forward. I'm hoping that he runs. He had a prep run already. The heavy ground was totally against him, and he was pulled out of the Hardwick as well. And that's got their own to ground. So I'm hoping the ground will be suitable for him on Sunday and that he'll give a good account of himself and hopefully win.
Lovely job, Dusty. A quick word, anything in that maybe you've been ridden against something or took a few of these on. I see Luke Cormer has 3 in it as well, the sponsor, so definitely interesting.
Search for a Song, she's ran twice over this trip at the Curragh, and she's won twice, and one of them was a Group 1, and she's had a couple of runs. She's a filly that comes good and likes the track, so I'd stick with her.
Lovely job. All right, lads, that's about wraps it up for us. That's just our quick.
Paddy, I just want to ask Shane, who I have him on the Rockingham, the 5 furlong sprint.
Mick, we have about 30 seconds. You better make it quick.
A horse that he knows well, but he was second in last year, Urban Beat. It's 10-1, and Paddy Power is paying 5 places. It was beaten a short head last year to Strong Johnson, and it was I think would it have a good chance for Shane?
Look, he's a good horse. He's a good stalwart. Johnny's horse running well. He doubled last night. The horse you mentioned, Strong Johnson, came back to form in Tipperary last day. He's only 8-11 on his back. He'd be my idea of it if it was putting down to 1 in the Rockingham.
All right.
Right, definitely interesting stuff. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that preview. I hope Dusty Foley gets a winner or two. We'll definitely be tuning in. Great to have the classic winning jockey on here at 𝐵𝗏𝗏 Sports. And as always, Mickey D, the bookie basher, and Joe Value. Lads, I got one thing left to say. The time for cotton is over. Enjoy the weekend and appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, Foley.